Well, thanks for joining us. This is the OLBG, Manchester City versus West Ham. It's the preview and betting tips blog. We're going to talk a little bit around each team. We're going to give you some bets and hopefully some winners as well. I'm delighted to say I am joined by the man on the right of your picture. It is Gio. Hi, Gio.
Hello, Sam.
Quite appropriately, you are next to the West Ham badge because we must make your allegiance aware. For those that haven't watched these videos before, Gio is a regular. He's an OLBG member that likes a bit of value, but he is also a West Ham fan. So we must take everything he says tonight with a pinch of very West Ham flavoured biased salt. But that said, it's always good to have a fan of a team because I know Gio does a lot of work for West Ham hangouts and things like that. So he will know more about West Ham than your average fan, which is always good. So, Gio, interesting fixture. Are you excited, given your recent form? Most teams would dread going away to Man City at the moment, but you must be feeling a little bit confident.
I'm buzzing for it. The team I've seen this last 5 games is totally different to the team I've watched for the last 6 months of the season. The Champions League's come at the right time for West Ham, actually.
Yes, which is what we'll touch on, I suppose. The home team looked okay against Juventus, but I think people have got to realise that this is where the divide in Europe comes. Man City have been tearing up Premier League. That they've been playing well. But against my team, Crystal Palace, that game ended up 1-0 to Manchester City, and they could have won it by 3, but they also did look a bit susceptible at the back. Palace were quite unlucky not to get a point. I know we tipped up on the Smoothie video as both teams to score a result, and it could quite easily have been. Do you just think, Gio, that West Ham could possibly be looking at a bit of a counter-attack strategy, or do you think they're going to go and attack City away from home? I'd love to know your thoughts on this.
A bit of both. Obviously, a counter-attacking worked at Arsenal and Liverpool perfectly. 3-0 and 2-0 wins. We struggled at home because Bilic didn't know how to break down sides that sit in. Leicester and Bournemouth made us ask questions. We didn't know what to do. Against Newcastle on Monday, Bilic let them have the ball. He let Newcastle have the possession, and we hit them on the counter-attack, and it worked a treat. It's a very clever thing to do. It's very rare to see a home side not give them the ball, but let them have as much of the ball as they want, and just let them come at them at their own box, and then take it off them and hit them on the counter-attack. We're going to have to be very, very patient and disciplined against Man City, though.
I was going to say, if you give Manchester City too much rope, they're not going to hang themselves, they're going to hang you, and it's going to be 4-0 to Man City before half-time.
But I think our defence is really well organised at times. Against Bournemouth, people say we conceded 4, but our fullbacks both had a nightmare that game. And I think Bilic was tactically naive in the Premier League that game because he was telling our fullbacks to push up all the time. And I don't think he realised just how punishing the Premier League can be. And he learnt the hard way. But against Newcastle, we were a lot more defensively switched on. And we've had 3 clean sheets from 5 games now, including at the Emirates and Anfield. There's not going to be many teams that do that this season. Okay, well, let's take a little whack at the stats, shall we? Well, if you didn't know it, Man City's form is imperious. 1-1-1-1-1-1. Whereas West Ham, obviously, you've had some great wings, Gio. Big scalps taken this season, and you mentioned those losses there to teams that, to be fair, you can imagine will pop up and get results throughout the season. Do you fear West Ham's season could become a little bit frustrating, that you can claim big scalps and then struggle against teams that you would expect to be beating? Well, I think the transfer deadline day, we were very clever. The board and Bilic brought in wingers and another target man, Jelavic, so it gives us a complete plan B off the bench. Your plan isn't working, and Andy Carroll's fit again. So if we're coming up against I don't want to use the word lesser, but we're coming up against sides at home that we're going to struggle against playing plan A. We can revert to plan B very simply with a quick switch of personnel off the bench. And our squad depth's unbelievable this season.
No, it's certainly something that many teams will be envious of. Just to give you some idea of what teams are up against when they go and play Man City, that their last defeat in the Premier League was away to Manchester United in April. I mean, that is some effort. Do you think there's a chance Man City could go unbeaten in the league this season, Gio?
No, I think the league's too good. The fact that it's only happened once says it all, really. But
I think the Champions League is going to distract them eventually. I think will it distract them this weekend? I'm hoping, but no, I think they'll be fine. I think they're looking like they're going to win the title already. They're throwing down the gauntlet and saying this is how we play football. And we haven't seen the best of Man City yet. I don't think actually. I think we're going to see some absolute thumpings at the Etihad this season.
Yeah, they're still hitting their stride, but a lot of teams are. I'll tell you what, I'd love you guys to comment and tell us. There's a chance Man City can go unbeaten. Just literally on the video below, comment and let us know. Give us your view. Obviously, we've not seen it since the Arsenal Invincibles, and they were a hell of a team, but I don't think the Premier League's as competitive as it was then. I think below Man City, everyone can beat everyone, but come on, they've got Kevin De Bruyne sat on the bench, best midfielder outside the Premier League last year, people were saying. You know, this is a man that was getting assists left, right and centre. They've got Raheem Sterling, who single-handedly at times was keeping that Liverpool side ticking over. So we'd love to get your comments just on the video and we'll see what you guys have to say about it. Gio, who's the key man for West Ham? I think you're going to tell everyone what we saw on Monday night, but give us a name for one player that if we haven't picked him up already, we need to be picking him up.
Well, obviously it's Dimitri Payet. I had my blog up and I said to get on him on man of the match 12-1, and he just ran the show. He's an entertainer. He can't. You'll have a pass on. Instead of doing a pass, he turned into a trick to do the pass, and it's exactly what I want to see at West Ham. But his first goal on Monday night was world class. He really is. He's too good for West Ham, Sam. He shouldn't be at Upton Park.
Do you think in a game like this, he'll get a bit more of a free role, perhaps, if you're playing just a single striker up top, and he's going to have a bit of freedom to taking pot shots from miles out? It could be worth a little anytime goal scorer bet, or do you think because he scored against Newcastle twice, that value's gone now, we should leave him alone?
I think he could be a little bit short. I think the bookies are going to start having a look at him going, let's rein this boy's pace in, because he also takes our free kicks as well. The key man, I think, for us on Monday night going forward is actually going to be Moses. He was unreal against Newcastle. His pace was unreal, and he's buzzing. He looks very happy to be at West Ham, and I think City's weak points are their fullbacks. I do think that.
He's forgotten how to score since he left my team, Crystal Palace, though, Gio. Some of those efforts, well, I'm talking through my pocket here because I backed him at any time at 6-1. So against City, you'd be looking at double figures any time, nearly, if he was 6-1 at home to Newcastle and managed to miss the target twice. But he's definitely one to watch this season, you think?
I think so. I think the way we play football is, and Antonio as well, when he gets involved, our 7 million signing from Forest, his pace is absolutely blistering. He's going to tear away from Premier League defences if he's given space.
Okay, interesting views. Right, let's get the bets up then. Now, Gio, I'm going to let you go first on this. I'm not sure you're going to enjoy the graphic that we've put. It's a bit mean. Now, just to let you guys know, the OLBG members' original tip, we were looking at things like Man City to win. They're too short for us to give you as a tip on here. It's just not fair. So OLBG members, we looked around and we feel that a lot of them, the ones I've spoken to anyway, could back unders on this game. Gio, can you give them any support for why unders might be a worthwhile bet here? Obviously, they went away to Crystal Palace and only won 1-0. Do you think City, the juggernaut, isn't quite as clear-cut at scoring as we thought?
Well, they've got 5 clean sheets out of 5, and West Ham got 3 clean sheets out of 5. So out of 10 games they've both been involved in, there's been 8 clean sheets. So that certainly backs it up a wee bit. I personally think it'll be over because I can see us scoring. But if you think, obviously, people are going to think I'm biased here. But if you think that, then definitely go for unders.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Now you've gone for West Ham to win 12-1 with Bet Victor. That's a huge price. And we've seen Crystal Palace went away to Chelsea. It was 10-1 the price that day, best price. Obviously, West Ham going there looks a little bit harder on the face of how each team's playing this season. Gio, would you advocate possibly thinking about a bit of a cash out if West Ham went in 1-0 up?
Definitely. I think, saying that, your cash out would probably be poor because the bookies would expect Man City to get back into it. The reason I'm going for this is because we've won at Arsenal at 14-1, we've won at Liverpool at 10-1. And I just think our tactics suit playing away from home and playing the bigger teams that they're going to come at us, and it's going to play into our hands a wee bit because Man City are going to commit bodies at us, rightly so, because they're good enough. But we've got our first choice keeper back. this weekend as well. We've had our sub keeper in the last 3 games. He's kept 2 clean sheets. We've got our first choice keeper back, Adrian. The only thing I would look out for, if you were thinking about the West Ham, is our centre back, Ogbonna, went off with an injury against Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's still not clear as to if it's serious or not. But I actually really rate James Tompkins. If he's centre back, we read. If Jenkinson switched on and he's going to have to be against Sterling, I think we could get something. But I just think we've got so much options. Even if we go a goal down, I think we've got plenty of options on the bench. We'll have Antonio, we'll have Andy Carroll. I'm really pleased with this West Ham side, actually.
Okay. Thank you for your time this evening, Gio. Guys, don't forget, like the video and subscribe. You can get all our tips for free. We've had loads of winners recently. We've got other tips around for the weekend as well. The Sunday game preview will follow this one as well. You'll be able to have a little watch on there. I know Gio's got a big prize for you there. And just comment on the question I want to leave you guys thinking about. Gio thinks they're going to get beaten by his team, West Ham, but can Man City really become the new Invincibles? Are they that good? Can they be Arsenal good? Should they be Arsenal good with the money they've spent? Thank you, Gio, and we'll see you all soon.